My brothers and sisters, have you ever felt exhausted for no clear reason, like your peace is slipping away, even though nothing seems wrong? Sometimes it's not what's happening around you, it's who is around you. There are people who smile in your face but quietly drain your energy, your faith and your peace. They don't always mean to, but their presence leaves you restless. Today, I want to open your eyes to 4 types of people you must avoid, because if you don't, they will slowly destroy your peace without you even realizing it. Let's begin with the first type of person. You should avoid the one who constantly complains. You've probably met someone like this before. No matter what happens, they always find something wrong. The sun could be shining beautifully, but they'll still say it's too hot. The rain could be falling gently, bringing life to the earth, and they'll still grumble that it's ruining their plans. You could share good news with them, and somehow they'll find a way to turn it into a reason to worry or feel miserable. Now, at first you might think, oh, it's just their nature. They're only expressing how they feel. But spend enough time with such people and you'll notice something deeper. Their constant negativity begins to affect you. You start to feel heavy, frustrated and anxious without realizing why. That's because energy, my brothers and sisters, is contagious. When someone is always complaining, always seeing the worst in everything, they don't just poison their own hearts, they slowly poison the hearts of those around them. Think about it. You wake up in the morning, you're feeling blessed and grateful, ready to face the day. Then you meet someone who says, there's no point, everything is falling apart. You might brush it off the first time, maybe even the second. But if you keep hearing that kind of talk every day, your mind starts to shift. You begin to see problems instead of possibilities. You start expecting disappointment instead of blessings. Without realizing it, your gratitude weakens and your peace disappears. My brothers and sisters, complaining is not just a habit, it's a mindset. And a complaining mindset can spread faster than any disease. People who constantly complain often do it because they are stuck in the past or blind to the good in their lives. They find comfort in their misery. They feel heard only when they express pain. But here's the truth. No one ever finds peace through complaining. It never fixes the problem. It never brings solutions. It only keeps you stuck where you are. There's a difference between sharing your struggles and constantly complaining. One comes from the desire to improve, the other from the desire to stay in self-pity. When you share your struggles with someone who cares, you're opening your heart for healing. But when you complain without intention to change, you're feeding the darkness inside. And those who live in that darkness will try to pull you in too. Not out of evil, but because misery loves company. So what should you do when you're surrounded by such people? You must learn the art of protecting your peace. Be compassionate, yes. Listen when they need help, yes. But don't absorb their negativity. Set boundaries. If someone constantly finds problems in everything, limit your time with them. If you must listen, do it with the intention of bringing positivity into the conversation. Gently remind them of their blessings. Shift their focus from complaints to gratitude. But if they refuse to change, don't let their attitude change you. You see, gratitude and complaining cannot live in the same heart. One pushes the other out. When you start counting your blessings, you automatically stop complaining. But when you keep complaining, you stop seeing your blessings. That's why you'll find that people who complain the most are often the least content. Even when they have so much, they'll have a home, a family, health, food, and still say, why don't I have more? Peace will never come to such a heart until gratitude takes root. And you, my brothers and sisters, must be aware of how this affects your own soul. When you're around someone who always complains, it can make you forget how blessed you are. You start comparing your life to theirs. You begin to see life as a burden instead of a gift. Before long, your smile fades, your motivation weakens, and your heart grows tired. That's not because life got worse, it's because your perspective changed. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine being around people who constantly remind you of the good in life, who thank the Almighty for even the smallest blessings, who see hope even in hardship. Their energy lifts you up. Their words make you smile. Their attitude reminds you that there is always something to be grateful for, no matter how dark the day may seem. That is the kind of company that protects your peace. My brothers and sisters, you can't control what others say or how they think, but you can control who you let influence your mind. If someone's constant complaining begins to weigh on you, take a step back. You're not being unkind, you're being wise. You're protecting your peace, your faith, and your state of mind. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone who complains all the time is not to join them in their misery, but to quietly show them what gratitude looks like. When they complain, you respond with thankfulness. When they focus on what's missing, you remind them of what's present. You can't change everyone, but you can be a light that refuses to dim in their darkness. And remember, even in your own life, when you feel tempted to complain, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what blessing am I overlooking right now? The truth is, there's always something to be grateful for. You woke up this morning, you can breathe, you can see, you can think, you can love. You have a chance to improve, to heal, to start again. Isn't that a blessing? Complaining blinds you to these gifts. Gratitude opens your eyes to them. One leads to anxiety and restlessness, the other leads to calm and contentment. The people who constantly complain live in storms of their own making. You don't have to stand in the rain with them. You can pray for them, wish them peace, and move forward with gratitude. So, my brothers and sisters, if you truly want peace in your life, distance yourself from the chronic complainers. Love them from afar if you must, but don't let their storm destroy your sunshine. Keep your heart focused on what's right, not what's wrong. Train your mind to see blessings, not problems. And above all, be the kind of person who brings calm wherever you go, not complaints. Because when you choose gratitude over negativity, you don't just protect your peace, you inspire peace in everyone around you. My brothers and sisters, the second type of person you must avoid is the one who lies and deceives. Dishonesty is like a slow poison. You don't always see its effect immediately, but over time, it damages trust, peace, and relationships beyond repair. You see, peace cannot exist where there is deception, because lies create confusion, and confusion steals clarity. When you can't trust someone's words, their smile, or their promises, your heart is never at rest around them. Think about it. When someone lies to you, even about something small, it plants a seed of doubt in your heart. You begin to question everything they say after that. You replay their conversations in your mind, wondering what was real and what was not. Slowly, that doubt turns into anxiety. Your mind loses its calm because trust, which is the foundation of peace, has been shaken. And once trust breaks, no amount of excuses or apologies can bring back that same sense of comfort. Some people lie so often that it becomes part of who they are. They lie to impress others, to escape responsibility, or to hide their flaws. But what they don't realize is that every lie takes them further from peace. A liar is never truly relaxed. They must remember what they said, to whom they said it, and how to keep the act going. They live in constant fear of being exposed, and that fear eats away at their inner peace. My brothers and sisters, I want you to understand something very important. A relationship, whether it's friendship, family, or marriage, can survive many things, but it cannot survive constant deception. Once lies enter the relationship, love becomes fragile, respect weakens, and communication loses its meaning. A person who lies cannot give you peace because their words no longer carry truth. Their apologies sound hollow. Their promises sound like noise, and soon your heart begins to feel unsafe around them. It's not just about big lies either. Sometimes it's the small casual ones that slowly destroy peace. The friend who says, "I'll be there," but never shows up. The co-worker who takes credit for your work the relative who speaks kindly to your face but slanders you behind your back, the partner who hides things under the excuse of protecting your feelings. These little deceits may seem harmless, but each one chips away at trust until nothing is left. The person who lies often forgets that honesty is not just about words, it's about character. Truthfulness brings light to the heart. When you are honest, you have nothing to hide. Your mind rests easily because you're not carrying the burden of pretense. But when dishonesty becomes a habit, you lose that light. Your heart grows dark, suspicious, and restless. You begin to doubt even the honest people in your life because you've been conditioned to expect deceit. That is why, my brothers and sisters, you must guard your peace by being selective about whom you trust. Be kind to everyone, but open your heart only to those who live by truth. It's better to have one honest friend than 100 who lie. A truthful person might make mistakes, but they will admit them. They will apologize sincerely, and they will mean what they say. A liar, on the other hand, will twist words, change stories, and make you question your own memory. They'll make you feel like you're the problem when all along it was their dishonesty tearing things apart. Have you ever noticed how much calmer life feels when you're around someone you trust completely? You can speak freely. You don't have to measure your words or second guess their intentions. That's what truth does. It gives you space to breathe. But with a liar, you can never relax. You're always waiting for the next inconsistency, the next half-truth, the next disappointment. Peace cannot survive in such an environment. And my brothers and sisters, this lesson goes both ways. It's not just about avoiding those who lie to you. It's also about making sure you don't fall into that habit yourself. Lies might seem small or harmless, but they destroy the peace within you long before they hurt anyone else. When you lie, your conscience feels heavy. You may ignore it at first, but deep down, your heart knows. Every time you choose dishonesty, you silence your own truth. And when you silence your truth long enough, you lose yourself. It's better to face the consequences of honesty than to live under the pressure of deception. People may be upset when you speak the truth, but in time, they'll respect you. Lies might make people happy for a moment, but they'll lose all respect for you once they find out the truth. And they will eventually. Truth always finds its way to the surface. Always. So, when you recognize someone who constantly lies, who twists words, hides truths, or manipulates situations, protect yourself. You can forgive them, yes, but don't continue to place your trust where it's not valued. Forgiveness is a gift you give for your own peace, but trust must be earned. Once broken repeatedly, it's no longer your duty to rebuild it. Some people will try to justify their dishonesty by saying, I didn't want to hurt you, or it was just a small lie. But a small lie is still a seed that can grow into something much bigger. A person who can lie about small things will eventually lie about important ones too. Don't fall for excuses. People who truly care about your peace will never build it on lies. My brothers and sisters, life is too short to spend it doubting those around you. If someone's words don't match their actions, if their stories keep changing, if their truth keeps shifting, step back. You deserve honesty, you deserve clarity, you deserve relationships that are built on truth, not illusions, because peace only exists where truth lives. And remember this, an honest life might not always be easy, but it will always be peaceful. When you live truthfully, you never have to fear being exposed. Your conscience is light, your heart is clear, and your relationships are real. That is true peace. So stay away from those who lie and deceive. Be gentle but firm. Pray for their guidance, but don't let their dishonesty destroy your inner calm. Choose truth even when it's difficult, and surround yourself with people who do the same. For where there is truth, there will always be peace. The third type of person you must avoid is the one who constantly gossips, mocks, and speaks ill of others behind their backs. These are the people who find pleasure in talking about the faults of others, spreading rumors, and planting seeds of hatred and misunderstanding. You'll recognize them easily. They always have a story to tell about someone, and it's rarely kind. At first, their words might sound harmless or even entertaining, but slowly, that kind of talk poisons your heart. You see, gossip may seem small, but it carries a heavy spiritual cost. The moment you allow your ears to become a resting place for other people's faults, you begin to lose your own peace. You start viewing people through the lens of negativity. You begin to judge without knowing the full story. And eventually that same gossip will turn against you, because the person who gossips with you will also gossip about you. Think about it, my brothers and sisters. If someone feels comfortable tearing others down in your presence, what makes you think they'll protect your name when you're not around? They won't. They've built their comfort on backbiting and slander, and soon you'll find your own name mixed into their conversations. That's why it's said, if they gossip to you, they'll gossip about you. Now, the danger of being around such people isn't only in what they say, it's also in what they make you become. When you spend time listening to gossip, even silently, you're participating in it. You begin to feel like you have to contribute, to share something too, to stay part of the conversation. Slowly, you lose empathy for others. You begin to speak without kindness, to laugh at someone's mistakes, or to spread something you were never supposed to repeat. Without even realizing it, your own tongue starts hurting others. My brothers and sisters, gossip and mockery destroy communities, families, and friendships. They create division where there was once love. They turn trust into suspicion and kindness into distance. How many relationships have broken because of one person's careless words? How many hearts have been hurt by something said in secret? You see, words are powerful. They can heal or they can harm. Once spoken, they can't be taken back. And the saddest part is that gossip rarely tells the truth. It exaggerates, it twists, it adds flavor to make things interesting. The gossiper doesn't care about truth, they care about attention. They like being the one who knows what's going on. But in doing so, they trade their peace for momentary importance, because deep down, a gossiper is never at peace. They're always anxious about what others are saying about them. They live in fear that their own secrets might one day be exposed. My brothers and sisters, being around such people can make you restless. You may start to wonder who's talking about you. You may feel unsafe sharing anything personal. Your circle begins to feel like a battlefield instead of a support system. That's not friendship, that's poison wrapped in laughter. True friends protect your name even in your absence. They speak well of you when you're not around. They correct you privately, not humiliate you publicly. If you want to protect your peace, learn to walk away from conversations that tear others down. If someone begins to gossip, change the subject or quietly excuse yourself. You don't need to confront them harshly. Your silence is often enough to send a message. You're not judging them, but you're refusing to feed into something that harms souls. When you refuse to participate, you help break the chain of negativity. Let me tell you something, my brothers and sisters. Gossip and mockery often come from insecurity. People who constantly talk about others are usually unhappy with themselves. They use the faults of others to distract from their own flaws. They mock others to feel superior. But true peace never comes from putting others down. It comes from lifting them up. When you stop comparing, when you stop gossiping, your heart becomes lighter. You sleep better. You think clearer. You feel more content. Have you ever noticed how peaceful you feel after a conversation filled with kindness, encouragement, and sincerity? Compare that to how you feel after sitting with people who gossip or mock others. You walk away feeling uneasy, guilty, or drained. That's not coincidence. Your soul recognizes when something is unhealthy. It's telling you this is not where you belong. My brothers and sisters, we live in a time where gossip spreads faster than truth. Social media has made it easier than ever to talk about others without thinking. But just because something is easy doesn't make it right. Before you speak, ask yourself, would I say this if that person were here? If the answer is no, then it's better left unsaid. Peace begins when we guard our tongues and protect our ears. And be careful, mockery is just as dangerous. Making fun of people, belittling their efforts, laughing at their mistakes, all of this hardens the heart. You might think it's just a joke, but you never know how deeply your words can wound someone. A single comment can stay in a person's heart for years. Words can destroy confidence, crush dreams, and break spirits. Don't be the reason someone loses hope. Be the reason they find it again. If you truly want peace, surround yourself with those who speak goodness, who protect the honor of others, who lift you up with wisdom, not gossip. When you sit with people who are pure in speech, you'll notice that your own heart begins to soften. You'll start seeing others with compassion instead of judgment. You'll stop comparing and start caring. That's the beauty of good company. It cleans your heart without you even realizing it. My brothers and sisters, it's simple. When you hear gossip, let it end with you. When you hear someone being mocked, defend them or walk away. When people speak badly about others, remind them gently that we all have flaws. The more you protect others' names, the more peace the Almighty places in your heart. Because when you guard someone's honor, He guards yours. So avoid the people who gossip and mock. They may seem harmless, but their words destroy more than you can see. Keep your circle small but sincere. Choose friends who protect, not expose. And remember, peace doesn't come from knowing everyone's secrets. It comes from keeping your own tongue clean and your heart pure. When you do that, your world becomes lighter, your relationship stronger, and your soul finally finds the calm it's been searching for. My brothers and sisters, the fourth type of person you must avoid is the one who discourages you from doing good. The kind of person who mocks your sincerity, belittles your efforts, and makes you feel foolish for trying to better yourself. You know the ones I'm talking about. The moment you start to change, to improve, to pray more sincerely, to live more consciously, suddenly they appear with their smirks and sarcastic comments. Oh, now you think you're so righteous, or you've changed. What happened to the old you? At first, their words might make you laugh it off. You might tell yourself they're only joking. But deep down, those words plant seeds of doubt. You start questioning your intentions. You begin to wonder if maybe you're being too serious, too focused, too different. And that, my brothers and sisters, is exactly what such people do. They make you second guess your growth. They make you feel uncomfortable for choosing the path that brings peace. Let me tell you something important. Not everyone is ready for your change. When you start walking towards peace and purpose, it exposes the chaos in those who have chosen to stay behind. Your light irritates those who are comfortable in the dark. Your discipline challenges those who have settled for laziness. Your faith makes those without direction feel uneasy. And instead of improving themselves, they try to pull you back down to their level. They'll say things like, "You've become boring," or "You've forgotten who you were." But my brothers and sisters, you haven't forgotten who you were. You've simply remembered who you're meant to be. Growth is not betrayal. You're not leaving them behind out of arrogance. You're simply moving toward peace. But the sad truth is, not everyone will celebrate that. Some people are more comfortable with you being lost because your confusion made them feel better about their own. You see, when you try to do good, whether it's becoming more kind, more spiritual, more responsible, or simply more disciplined, it threatens those who are stuck in comfort. They'll try to make you feel guilty for your improvement. They'll call your sincerity showing off. They'll label your boundaries as pride. They'll tell you you're pretending when in reality you're just transforming. But don't let their noise distract you from your purpose. My brothers and sisters, peace doesn't mean pleasing everyone. You will never find peace by shrinking yourself to fit the expectations of people who don't even understand your journey. True peace comes when you are sincere with your Creator and consistent with your values, even if it means losing some people along the way. Because the truth is, not everyone who starts the journey with you is meant to finish it with you. When someone discourages you from doing good, it often reveals more about them than about you. Sometimes their mockery comes from jealousy. They see you changing in ways they wish they could but don't have the strength to. Sometimes it comes from guilt. Your actions remind them of what they're neglecting. And sometimes it's simply because they don't understand that peace requires change. They've mistaken comfort for happiness. They've built their lives around habits that numb them, not heal them. Don't let such people define your pace or your path. When you start distancing yourself from what harms your soul, you're not being self-righteous, you're being wise. When you choose to be more patient, more disciplined, more truthful, that's not you becoming too much, that's you becoming real. And when people mock you for that, remember this, your growth is not meant for their approval, it's meant for your peace. My brothers and sisters, I've seen so many people give up on good habits because someone laughed at them. A young person begins to pray regularly and their friends tease them. Someone decides to give up harmful habits and people say, you won't keep that up for long. A person decides to dress modestly and others whisper, who are they trying to impress? These words may seem small, but they can crush the spirit if you let them. That's why it's so important to protect your peace by choosing your circle wisely. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your growth, not mock it. People who encourage you to do better, not pull you back into your old ways. True friends will be proud when you improve. They'll remind you to keep going when you stumble. They'll correct you kindly when you fall short. That's the kind of company that nourishes your peace instead of stealing it. And my brothers and sisters, remember, the journey of becoming better is not easy. There will always be voices trying to pull you back. The world loves to distract those who seek clarity, but you must be strong. You must remind yourself why you started. You must remember that peace is not found in the crowd, it's found in your connection with your Creator. When people say you've changed, smile and say, I was meant to. Change is the evidence of life. Everything living grows, evolves and adapts. Only what is dying stays the same. Don't be ashamed of your growth. Don't apologize for choosing peace. If someone feels uncomfortable with your change, it's because your growth reminds them of what they've neglected within themselves. My brothers and sisters, never let anyone make you feel bad for doing good. If your kindness is mocked, keep being kind. If your faith is questioned, stay steadfast. If your discipline is misunderstood, stay focused. Don't dim your light to make others comfortable in the dark. You weren't created to stay small, you were created to rise. So avoid those who discourage you from good. Love them, pray for them, but do not let them distract you. Protect your peace, protect your progress. And always remember, the path to peace is rarely crowded because few are brave enough to walk it. But those who do, walk with strength, clarity and grace. May the Almighty grant you the courage to continue doing good even when mocked, the strength to stand firm even when doubted, and the wisdom to surround yourself with those who bring out the best in you. Because, my brothers and sisters, when you choose peace, you choose purpose. And when you choose purpose, you choose a life that truly matters. The fifth type of person you must avoid is the one who always sees themselves as better than others. The arrogant soul who looks down on people, judges them, and measures worth by status, wealth, appearance, or popularity. You've probably met someone like this before. They walk into a room and immediately start comparing, competing and criticizing. They might smile at you, but their eyes are full of pride. They think they are right, everyone else is wrong. They talk, but rarely listen. They give advice, but never accept it. And the sad truth is, arrogance and peace can never live in the same heart. My brothers and sisters, arrogance doesn't only show in loud, boastful words. Sometimes it hides behind subtle gestures, little comments, or silent judgment. It's the tone that says, I'm better than you. It's the thought that says they don't deserve respect. It's the quiet dismissal of someone just because of where they come from or how they look. This kind of pride slowly destroys relationships, communities, and even faith. Because a heart full of arrogance has no space left for humility, and humility is where peace begins. Have you noticed that arrogant people are never truly happy? They may appear confident, but inside they are always comparing, always competing, always needing to prove something. They live restless lives because their peace depends on being above others. The moment someone else succeeds, they feel threatened. The moment someone receives praise, they feel envy. Their hearts can't rest because they measure their worth by other people's failures. That is a heavy, bitter way to live. And when you surround yourself with such people, my brothers and sisters, their arrogance begins to affect you. You start to question yourself. You begin to doubt your value. You may even start imitating them, thinking you must act the same way to be respected. But arrogance never brings respect, it only brings distance. People may fear you, but they'll never truly love or trust you. A humble heart, on the other hand, draws people closer. It inspires peace, not pride. Be careful around those who constantly boast about their achievements, who always find a way to make every conversation about themselves. They might talk about helping others, but their words will always circle back to I, me, and mine. If you share a struggle, they'll tell you how they handled it better. If you share a joy, they'll try to outshine it with their own. These people cannot celebrate you because your happiness reminds them that they are not the center of the world. My brothers and sisters, arrogance blinds the heart. It makes people see others' mistakes clearly but ignore their own. It makes them criticize others harshly but excuse their own wrongs. That's why you must protect yourself from such energy, because if you spend too much time around arrogance, you'll start to normalize it. You'll start to think it's strength, when in reality it's weakness disguised as confidence. True strength is gentle. True confidence is humble. True greatness is found in kindness. And remember, arrogance isn't only about material things. Sometimes it's spiritual. There are people who become proud of their good deeds, who look down on others for not doing as much. They say, I pray more, I give more, I'm more religious. But that kind of pride cancels out the beauty of the act itself, because goodness loses meaning when it's done to feel superior. The moment you think your goodness makes you better than someone else, you've already lost the essence of humility. So, my brothers and sisters, if someone constantly looks down on others, mocks their struggles, or belittles their journey, that person cannot bring peace into your life. Their arrogance will eventually wound you. They'll make you feel small when you should feel grateful. They'll make you feel ashamed when you should feel hopeful. Peace cannot grow in an environment where pride rules. Be around those who remind you that you are enough, who lift you up without making you feel less, who celebrate your growth without comparing it to their own. The humble person doesn't need to shout their worth. Their character speaks louder than words. And when you're around such people, you feel lighter, you feel respected, you feel inspired to become a better version of yourself, not out of competition, but out of love. My brothers and sisters, the truth is, arrogance comes from insecurity. People act superior because they fear being ordinary. They look down on others because they are terrified of being looked down upon. But the peaceful heart doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't need validation. It knows that true value comes from the Almighty, not from comparison. That's why it's so important to keep your distance from arrogant people, not out of hatred, but for your own peace. You cannot argue humility into a proud heart. You cannot teach empathy to someone who only listens to their ego. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step away and let them learn through life itself. My brothers and sisters, if you ever feel pride creeping into your own heart, remind yourself of where you came from, of how small we all are in the grand design of the Almighty. Remember that everything you have, your success, your intelligence, your beauty, your strength, it's all a blessing, not a personal achievement. You didn't choose the talents you were given, you were entrusted with them. And when you see life through that lens, pride turns into gratitude, and gratitude brings peace. So avoid those who carry arrogance like a crown. You don't need to fight them or prove them wrong. Just don't let their attitude infect your heart. Smile, be kind, but don't engage in their comparisons. Protect your peace by walking humbly, by remembering that the greatest people are those who make others feel valued, not small. My brothers and sisters, peace grows in the soil of humility. Arrogance uproots it. If you want calmness in your life, surround yourself with those who see value in everyone, who listen before speaking, who give without boasting, who care without expecting. Stay close to people who make you forget about competition and remind you of compassion, because in the end, peace doesn't belong to the proud, it belongs to the humble. My brothers and sisters, the sixth type of person you must avoid is the one who brings constant drama, chaos, and conflict into your life. These are the people who always seem to have a problem, an argument, or some kind of emotional storm following them wherever they go. They thrive on tension. They can't go a week without stirring something up. And if there isn't a problem, they'll find one or create one. Being around such people will drain your peace faster than anything else, because they turn every calm moment into a battlefield. You'll recognize them easily. They're the ones who always exaggerate situations, who twist small misunderstandings into major fights. They hold grudges, talk about people behind their backs, and constantly feel offended by the smallest things. They'll make you feel guilty for things you didn't do. They'll pull you into arguments that don't concern you, and they'll make sure that their chaos becomes your chaos. You could be having a perfectly peaceful day, and then one phone call or one message from them is enough to turn your mood upside down. My brothers and sisters, life already has its share of challenges. You don't need to carry the extra burden of someone else's constant negativity and drama. There's a difference between helping someone who's struggling and being trapped in someone's never-ending cycle of problems. Helping is an act of kindness, but being drained over and over by someone who refuses to find peace, that's self-destruction. You must learn to recognize the difference. People who love drama are rarely at peace with themselves. They're restless inside, and so they create restlessness around them. They often live in the past, replaying old hurts, blaming others, refusing to forgive. They use conflict as a way to feel important, because peace feels too quiet for them. But you, my brothers and sisters, must understand peace doesn't grow in noise. It grows in stillness, forgiveness, and emotional discipline. And you can't have that if your circle is filled with chaos. Sometimes these people will pretend, they just tell it like it is. They'll say, I'm just being honest, when in reality they're being hurtful. They'll say, I just care, when in reality they're stirring trouble. They'll say, I don't like drama, right after creating it. Don't let such excuses blind you to the truth. When someone constantly leaves you feeling heavy, anxious, or on edge after every interaction, that's not honesty, that's toxicity. My brothers and sisters, the Almighty gave you one heart. It wasn't designed to be a storage for other people's chaos. If you keep absorbing their drama, their bitterness, and their endless complaints, you'll soon find that your peace disappears without warning. You'll start feeling exhausted, emotionally drained, and spiritually disconnected. You lose focus on your own purpose because you're too busy being a character in someone else's storm. You have to set boundaries. That's not cruelty, it's wisdom. When someone tries to pull you into their constant arguments, step back. You don't need to reply to every message. You don't need to defend yourself against every accusation. You don't need to attend every drama-filled conversation you're invited to. Silence sometimes is the most powerful way to protect your peace. When you stop reacting, their chaos loses its power. My brothers and sisters, remember this. Not every fight deserves your energy. Some people argue not to find truth, but to release their frustration. You can't reason with a heart that enjoys conflict. You can't calm someone who doesn't want peace. You can only choose to rise above it. And sometimes rising above means walking away, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. I've seen people waste years of their lives trying to fix those who have no desire to be fixed. they think maybe if I'm patient enough, they'll change. But if a person doesn't see a problem with their behavior, your patience will only exhaust you. You can't change someone who finds comfort in chaos. The only person you can truly change is yourself. So what do you do when someone constantly brings conflict into your life? You forgive them, you pray for them, but you keep your distance. You stop engaging in their arguments. You stop justifying your peace to those who thrive on noise. You learn to say, I wish you well, but I need peace. That sentence alone can save your sanity. And my brothers and sisters, sometimes the person who brings drama might be close to you, a family member, a friend, even someone you care deeply about. That makes it harder, I know. But even then, boundaries are necessary. You can love someone and still protect your peace from them. Love doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. Compassion doesn't mean accepting chaos. You can pray for them from afar, wish them healing, but you don't have to sacrifice your well-being for their storms. You see, peace is not found by avoiding problems, it's found by avoiding unnecessary ones. If someone keeps pulling you into battles that don't belong to you, you're allowed to step aside. You're not abandoning them. You're choosing balance. And once you do that, you'll notice something beautiful. Your days become lighter. Your heart feels calmer. You start hearing your own thoughts again. That's the sound of peace returning. My brothers and sisters, the people who bring peace into your life will make you feel safe, understood, and valued. They won't make you feel anxious or confused. You leave conversations with them feeling calm, not drained. They'll talk to you about ideas, not people. They'll remind you of solutions, not problems. That's the company you should keep. So avoid those who constantly bring drama. Don't let their storms drown your serenity. Don't waste your time trying to control what others refuse to control within themselves. Protect your heart like you protect something precious, because it is precious. Surround yourself with calm souls who bring you closer to peace, to gratitude, and to the Almighty. And finally, my brothers and sisters, remember this truth. Peace is not found in the absence of noise. It's found in your ability to remain calm in the middle of it. So choose your company wisely. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Let your circle be small, but let it be peaceful. Because peace is not a luxury, it's a responsibility. It's your duty to protect it, even if that means walking away from those who refuse to live without chaos. The seventh type of person you must avoid is the one who never takes responsibility, the kind who always blames others, makes excuses, and refuses to admit when they are wrong. These are the people who can turn any situation into someone else's fault. They will hurt you, disappoint you, and somehow make you feel guilty for their mistakes. Their pride won't let them say the simple words, I was wrong, or I'm sorry. And because of that, peace can never exist around them. You'll notice something about such people. They always play the victim. They paint themselves as the ones who are misunderstood, mistreated, or unappreciated no matter what happens. If they fail, it's because someone didn't help them. If they argue, it's because you made them angry. If they lie, it's because they had no choice. Their story always puts them in the right and everyone else in the wrong. Being around them is exhausting because no matter how calmly you explain, they never truly listen. They're not looking for understanding, they're looking to be right. My brothers and sisters, peace cannot survive in a space where accountability doesn't exist. You see, when someone refuses to own their mistakes, they never grow. And when they don't grow, their relationships never heal. They repeat the same behavior over and over again, leaving behind broken trust and hurt hearts. It's like being stuck in a cycle. They hurt you, you forgive them, they promise to change, and soon they hurt you again. And when you finally confront them, they twist the story and make you feel like you're overreacting. Such people will drain your emotional energy. You'll spend hours trying to reason with them, trying to help them see where they went wrong, but they'll just shift the blame. They'll bring up your past mistakes, your weaknesses, anything to avoid facing themselves. And over time, this constant blame shifting will wear you down. You'll start doubting yourself. You'll start wondering if maybe it is your fault. That's the danger. They make you question your peace of mind until you forget that their behavior is the problem, not your reaction to it. My brothers and sisters, peace requires honesty, not only with others, but with oneself. When a person is humble enough to say, yes, I made a mistake, it creates space for healing. It shows maturity, it shows strength. But when a person's ego is so fragile that they can't admit wrongdoing, their relationships crumble. They might win arguments, but they lose respect. They might silence others, but they never find peace. Because peace doesn't come from being right, it comes from being real. Let me tell you something from the heart. Nobody is perfect. Every one of us has flaws. We all make mistakes. But the difference between those who find peace and those who don't lies in how we deal with those mistakes. The peaceful person acknowledges them, learns from them, and moves forward. The prideful, blameful person hides them, denies them, and keeps repeating them. You cannot build a calm life around people who refuse to face themselves. Sometimes such people will disguise their lack of accountability behind charm. They'll say things like, you know how I am, or you take things too seriously. They'll use humor or excuses to downplay their behavior, but behind the laughter, they're avoiding the truth. And my brothers and sisters, the truth always catches up. You cannot keep peace with someone who runs from honesty. When you are around people who never take responsibility, you'll find that you are always apologizing even when you've done nothing wrong. You apologize just to keep the peace, but in reality, it's not peace you're keeping, it's silence. True peace isn't found in avoiding confrontation, it's found in mutual respect and truth. And when one person refuses to be honest, that balance breaks. You end up carrying the weight of two people's emotions, two people's guilt, two people's mistakes that is too heavy for any heart. So, my brothers and sisters, protect your peace. Don't allow someone's refusal to grow to become your constant source of stress. You cannot fix someone who doesn't see a problem. You can love them, you can pray for them, but you cannot live your life cleaning up after their chaos. Sometimes stepping away is the only way to truly help them, because life itself becomes the teacher they refuse to listen to. And remember, my brothers and sisters, accountability is a sign of humility. When you take responsibility for your actions, it doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. The moment you can say, I was wrong, you open the door to growth. You allow peace to re-enter your relationships. You free your heart from guilt. But when someone refuses that humility, they chain themselves to pride. And pride always leads to pain. If you want peace, surround yourself with people who own their words and actions. People who can say, I hurt you and I'm sorry. People who don't blame others when things go wrong, but ask, what can I do better next time? That kind of humility makes relationships beautiful. It builds trust, strengthens love, and allows forgiveness to actually heal. But those who never admit fault, who always see themselves as the victim, you must love them from a distance, because their denial will keep you stuck in battles you can never win. They will drain your kindness and twist your compassion. They will use your patience as permission to continue the same behavior. You cannot change them by arguing. You can only protect yourself by creating distance. My brothers and sisters, sometimes peace comes not from fixing others, but from freeing yourself. Don't let anyone's refusal to grow hold you back from your own growth. Don't carry the weight of someone who refuses to carry their share. Walk in peace, with honesty, with humility, and with grace. And finally, remember this, admitting you're wrong doesn't make you small, it makes you human. It brings you closer to truth, and truth brings you closer to peace. But arrogance and denial, they only build walls. Choose honesty over ego, and surround yourself with those who do the same, because peace doesn't live where blame is louder than accountability. It lives in hearts humble enough to say, I made a mistake and I want to do better. As we come to the end of this reminder, I want you to pause for a moment and truly reflect on what peace means to you. Because peace is not just silence or comfort, it's the state of your heart when you are free from negativity, dishonesty, arrogance, and emotional chaos. It's the calm that comes when you finally realize you don't have to carry everyone, fix everything, or please everyone. You just have to protect the light within you and keep your connection with the Almighty strong. Throughout life, you will meet many kinds of people. Some will lift you higher, and some will pull you down without even realizing it. Not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions, and not everyone who walks away means you harm. The wisdom is in recognizing who brings you closer to peace and who takes it away. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to walk away quietly, not in anger, not in pride, but in peace, because protecting your heart is not selfish, it's necessary. You don't have to announce who you're cutting off or explain why you're distancing yourself. Peace doesn't need explanations. Just choose stillness over chaos, truth over lies, humility over arrogance, and sincerity over pretense. Let your life be filled with people who remind you of goodness, who make you laugh sincerely, who encourage your growth, who celebrate your healing, and who never make you feel like your kindness is a weakness. My brothers and sisters, remember that the Almighty sees your heart. He knows your intentions. When you let go of the wrong people, He replaces them with the right ones. When you protect your peace, He blesses your life with clarity. When you choose patience over reaction, He fills your days with calm. Don't hold on to people who keep bringing you pain. Trust that what you lose in noise, you gain in peace. And finally, never forget, peace is not something you find by accident. It's something you build by choice every single day. Choose peace in your words, in your company, in your thoughts, and in your reactions. Be the person who brings calm into the storm, who brings light where there is darkness, and who walks away when peace no longer lives in a place. May the Almighty bless you with wisdom to recognize toxic company, with strength to set boundaries, and with the courage to walk the path of peace even when it means walking alone for a while. Because when your heart is at peace, you're never truly alone. You're exactly where you're meant to be.